What does this quarter in the aftermath of the assassination of Charlie Kirk have in common? In a world filled with so many different voices, I hope to be a voice of reason in this moment. With a world filled with so many emotions currently, I hope to be a voice of sanity. And in a world filled with so much chaos and hopelessness, I hope to share with you just a little bit of hope. This coin, this quarter, was given a value. And the value of this quarter was determined by its maker. The United States decided that this quarter is worth 25 cents. It always has been, and it always will be. There's nothing that you can do, and there's nothing that I can do to change the value of this quarter. It has been predetermined by its maker. But the interesting thing about this quarter is that this quarter consists of two sides, heads and tails. And I've never been presented a quarter, or I've never presented a quarter to someone else to pay for something, in which they told me that the value has been worth more or less based on which side has been presented. What am I trying to say? Maybe this quarter represents political parties. We could say one side represents Republicans and one side represents the Democrats. And we could try and claim one side is more valuable than the other, but at the end of the day, we are both Americans, and the value is the same. We could say that this quarter and these two sides represent male and female, or black and white, the differences of human beings. But at the end of the day, the value of the quarter has been predetermined by its maker. And there is no one more valuable, either male or female, black or white, or anywhere in between. The value was predetermined by the maker. So what is our issue? Our issue is we are faced with a society that is trying to convince each other that one side of this quarter is more valuable than the other. But that is not the true issue. The real issue is an issue that has plagued humanity since the beginning of time. The Bible records in the book of Genesis, chapter 4 and verse 7, that Cain was faced with a decision about his brother Abel. This is before political parties. This is before any difference of racial and ethnic makeup. This is before any differences existed. As a matter of fact, this isn't even Cain and his sister. It's Cain and his brother. They are of the same gender. Yet the Bible records that sin was crouching at the door of Cain's heart, and it wanted to rule over him, and he allowed it to cause him to make a decision that said, because my brother is different than me, different side of the coin, his life is not as valuable. And he takes him into the field, and he takes his brother's life. Fast forward to the time of Noah in the 6th chapter of Genesis. And the Bible records that the Lord himself saw how great the wickedness of man was, and that the thoughts of the human heart was, listen to this, only evil all the time. See, the reality is the problem with our society is sin will always produce evil. Sin will always produce evil. And there is only one remedy, and that remedy cannot be solved through a political party or through a certain gender or by a certain race. The problem with sin was solved by one person, and his name is Jesus. Jesus came, And one of the things that he did while he actually was on this earth is he revealed to man how valuable they were. In the book of Matthew, chapter 6, Jesus is talking about worry, oddly enough. I know many of us are probably worried. We're worried about what the world looks like. We're worried about, what people might think of us. We're worried about what people who are different might feel about us now. We're worried about these things. And Jesus is addressing worry. And in the middle of addressing worry, he speaks of the value that God has placed on mankind. Not the value that God has placed on a certain portion of mankind, a certain, sector of mankind. He placed value. He let everyone know that the value was placed on mankind. That we've been created in the likeness and the image of God. And now because of Jesus, who will deal with our sin issue, we can love our neighbor the way God loves them. We can love them despite our differences because we realize that our value is the same despite what side of this coin we choose to land on. My prayer in this moment is that we begin to value each other once again, that we stop devaluing each other based on the differences, heads or tails. This coin, when it's presented, it does not matter what side is presented, its value never changes. And friends, we've got to value one another once again, despite our differences. My prayers are with the Kirk family and with anyone who has lost someone to something that is tragic, lives that have been taken from families way too soon. My prayers are with them, and my prayer is that we would do our part to make this world a better place. I love you. God loves you. Let's love each other the best we can.